Well, she's got a beautiful life. She's so happy. She's got great kids. She's maintained a beautiful family unit. I mean, there's so much, and that's the part. I wish more people could get to see maybe the parts that we know, that
Yeah.
we see. That's so much
Off
more
camera.
intimate off camera than you get to be able to
Some
connect.
people do. She has a lot of fans.
Yeah, some people do. And when she did our podcast, Undressed, I'll tell you that she was so
Undressed with Paul and Patrik.
she was very you could see how vulnerable she is. You could
Yeah.
see how genuine she is. You could see because when she's sitting there with her friend and she's having a conversation,
Yeah.
you could just see Teresa.
And her
It's like,
coffee read that he did on her was really, really magical.
oh,
She
she
really, she
was
really loved it.
yeah, it
It's
was
cool.
insane.
That may be, and I almost understand that because when the whole world has like done you wrong and your husband has been deported and you were in jail, and I get it that you really can't trust anyone,
No.
but I still don't think her motives are pure because I feel that if your motive was pure, you contact your brother and you do not mention it at all.
But if they
Like
ask
for
you, what is she
instance,
supposed to do? To lie?
like
There's a lot of
here's
there's
like
a lot of
here's an
pieces there.
example.
There's a lot of pieces there.
Like here's an example. Melissa, way back 9 months ago, 6 months ago, reached out to Kathy Wakili or whatever, and they got together. And something, or Kathy reached out to Melissa. I don't forgot. And Kathy said, "Please don't talk about this," or something like that. Please, like I don't. We all know Melissa and Kathy sitting down and talking. It's going to be a thing. And Melissa did not mention it to anyone. Then Kathy went and mentioned it. Then Melissa on Jeff Lewis was like, "Well, she asked me not to mention it. That's why I did it." But I'm not taking Melissa's, this is not Melissa versus Teresa. I'm saying I forgot who called who. I think Kathy called Melissa to meet Melissa or whatever, but said, please, it's going to be a big thing. Kathy sits down with Melissa. I mean, there's no show. Kathy's like, who wants this headline? But then Kathy mentioned it herself. And then Melissa's like, well, everyone's coming after me for not mentioning it. Kathy asked me not to. So Melissa kept that. Like, believe it or not, when housewives are in my DMs, I don't mention the shit they tell me because
They probably tell you a
that's
lot.
dirty. That's dirty. It's like
Yeah.
now you're putting something, and this is what every other blogger does, the thirsty ones that are on Orange County and this and that. This is, I don't need to insert myself in the story. I don't want to. That's not my job. My job is to talk about what's going on. I'm not thirsty. So I don't repeat things. So my point is, I feel Teresa's real motives. No, I feel if they were really altruistic, you reach out to you don't talk about it. You meet at the house, no
But if you're
cameras.
asked the question, what do you do?
You say like Lala was recently on a couple weeks ago, Paid Six. She did an interview promoting I forgot what. And they brought up Sheena. I mean, really, I can't remember. And they brought up Sheena. And she said, like, I really I don't even want to talk about that at this point. And the interviewer pushed and she said, I don't even want to have a comment on Sheena. We're over this. Jennifer Lopez, the queen, really Madonna's the queen, let's be very clear, and Cher is second, was on Watch What Happens. And Andy said, I would be remiss in the Bravo world if I didn't ask you this. But a few seasons ago, there was this woman on a show called Southern Charm. You might have never heard of it. And her name was Madison LaCroix. And it turns out that your boyfriend at the time, Alex Rodriguez, slipped into her DMs and they had a thing. And that's why you and Alex broke up. And Jennifer was very quiet. And she stared and she said, pause. I think I just don't want to talk about my personal life anymore. I think there's enough out there on that. And Andy Cohen turned red and shut up and moved on. Mind you, Jennifer Lopez was on Howard Stern the next day, and the whole interview was about her personal life and whether she was loved or not, and how many boyfriends she's had. And to Howard Stern, you don't say no, darling. But Jennifer Lopez put Andrew Cohen in his place. It is like, I don't want to talk about that. Lala put Paid Six in her. So Teresa, who walks out of interviews. She walked out that other interview. She walked out of, forget about that, 10 years, you forget. You know how many interviews Teresa's walked out of? She was on the news one morning with Melissa like 5 years ago. She walked right out. She got right up and walked out. The woman who flips a table will tell you, go fuck yourself and go make your mama's meatballs. All of a sudden, Teresa's afraid. So if the interviewer asks, she's like, I'm not answering that today. Sorry. That's what you say. And
So,
then you
so
go
now,
and you,
so when you ask a question and we know different, then I'm allowed to say,
I think it's a
I don't
very
want to talk about it.
I think it's a very personal thing. I really do. And I think that they're going to handle it the best way they can.
Yeah, I think that family has gone through so many different iterations
Publicly.
publicly, and I think being present to so much where they've lived out loud in the public eye, and you hear so much noise
Yeah.
that you wouldn't otherwise. I mean, being from an Italian family to begin with, and everybody's going crazy one way or the other, and which way is up.
Yep.
You know how it is. The yelling and the screaming is standard. Flipping tables is like it's normal. It's like we do that at the house every night. It's like when we get together.
Possibly.
But I do want families to find their way back to each other in a way that it reinstills the notion of, you know, like blood should be thicker than water, and people that you have a loyalty to, although in recent years we we find our family in so many different areas of life that we connect with, that we choose, that creates our integral circle that makes it so much more worth living for.
you're now the way Andy Cohen was denied by Jennifer Lopez. You're now planning to deny me when I ask you a question, aren't you? I see your wheels turning. No, you cannot deny me. Mind you, I was always amazed when I interviewed, like, out of everyone I've interviewed, the only thing that comes to the top of my head, I interviewed Amber Childers, Randall Emmett's ex-wife. And
Yeah.
I asked her, this is before she reconciled with Lala, way back. She had a TV show to promote. She was on the podcast. We talked all about her TV. She was promoting You, which is the greatest show with Penn Badgley. She was in that like first season. And then ultimately, after we talked about Ray Donovan and all her wonderful accomplishments in Hollywood, I brought up Lala and Randall. Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go, David. And she just very politely said, I really don't want to talk about Lala. And I was like, what do I say to that? Mind you, when Gina Gershon was on my show and I asked, like, on my third Showgirls question, she said, I didn't come on your podcast to talk only about Showgirls. I said, fair enough. One last question about Showgirls. So, and then we moved on. But so there is a way to properly just excuse yourself.
Well, now that you've taught me how to do that,
No, 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 not to me, darling.
I'm totally going to be able to exercise my right to do so.
I mean, but Andy was he was shot down by Jennifer Lopez, and then I just thought it was funny. She literally was on Howard Stern not even 24 hours later, and he was.
Yeah.
Have you ever been loved? Did you feel it? I mean, these were, so deep and personal. But Howard is. I think Howard is one of the geniuses. I do. I really
Well,
do.
I think he
He's
started
perfected the craft.
I think he started a movement
Yeah.
many years ago when it
Yeah.
didn't exist, and it caught on to a place where people
Correct.
needed it. It came in at the right time when people really, really needed something to
Yep.
really clench to.
Mind you, Jennifer Lopez's first husband, because Jennifer said, no, I don't think I was ever loved. And she's like, they gave me all they can give me. And so that was great. But they were all flawed. They didn't have it in them. And I guess she's referring to A-Rod and Ben and Affleck and
Affleck.
all of the above. Mark Anthony, well, her first husband, who's not famous, came out 24 hours later and slammed her. He's like, let's back up, sweetheart. I loved